Hey guys, a little horizontal video. I just wanted to talk to you guys today. A little something that's on my mind. A lot of people, a lot of young actors, even more mature actors who are just now getting into the business, ask me a lot about rejection. That's the subway. I'm walking through New York. I'm in New York, you guys. The Bronx right now, to be exact. Headed to a friend's baby shower. Y'all like my outfit? Anyway, I wanted to speak to the topic of rejection. When you are an actor, when you're an entertainer, you do face a lot of quote-unquote rejection. What I would tell people in general, because I go from job to job, from event to event, contract to contract. Sometimes I'm working on a contract that might last me 3 months. Sometimes I might be working on a contract that will last me 3 days. Sometimes it's just 1 day. Sometimes I may have 2 different events or 2 different projects in 1 day. And in between that, I find myself auditioning again, going in for the next part. Because once that project is done, you're always looking for the next part. You're always being considered or being seen for the next part. So if you're really serious about being an actor, being an entertainer, being in this business, then you have to prepare yourself for what it feels like in between the jobs and what it feels like when you're actually auditioning and putting yourself in front of people to be considered for a role or a part in their project. We can have a whole nother talk about producing your own projects, but right now I'm just talking about when you as an actor, when you are submitting yourself to audition for other people, and what it feels like to prepare yourself for rejection. When I first started acting, I was amongst a huge group of super talented people. I was in Atlanta, Georgia. I was in a group called YEA. And the people I was around, oh my God, they were so talented. Beautiful singers, dancers, actors. We were writing our own shows. We were doing everything. So I cut my teeth on this passion for performing. And you know, you sort of come out of that type of energy. You feel invincible. You feel like you can do anything and you can play any part. And as a teenager, you do play a lot of different parts. You'll have a teenage production of A Raisin in the Sun, and you know, you'll have a girl in the 12th grade playing the mom. Now, of course, that's not realistic when you get into the real life. So when you get into real life acting and this real life career, that's when types come into play. We, as super uber positive, politically correct people, never want to place ourselves in boxes. We never want to make ourselves, you know, be considered to be a type. But the key to being able to deal with rejection and deal with auditioning and deal with being judged is to understand and know your type, and know that in general, people receive you and consider you a certain way. You could be a world-class beauty. You could be an amazingly gorgeous, super model beauty. You can be comfortably beautiful. You can be ugly. You can be, there's so many different ways that people perceive you in this world. And for me, I decided to use the mango technique. That was exemplary just now. I consider myself to be a ripe, juicy mango. And as a mango, everywhere I go, people receive me as such, as a mango. When I audition for a role, I know that I am bringing my mango self into the room. Now, if the casting director doesn't know what they want, they got a room full of mangoes, bananas, cherries, oranges, apples, papayas, passion fruit. They got a room full of a variety of fruits, right? And they're deciding what they want. I'm gonna come in there and be the best, flyest, dopest mango I could be. Okay? Some days my mango might have a different kind of sheen on it, but I know I'm a mango, so that's what I'm bringing to the table. If they cast a banana, then they weren't looking for a mango that day. I can't force myself to be a banana. I can't force myself to be a lemon. I can't force myself to be an apple. I'm always a mango. So once you have that understanding of what your type is and who you are, then you won't be offended when you don't get a role, when you don't get a part. You will be cool, calm, and collected even when you don't get a part, because you know that you brought what you brought to the table, and either they were down for it or they weren't. But remember, as long as you represent who you are to the best of your ability, they'll call you later to see you when they're like, oh snap, remember that mango we saw last week? We need to bring her back in. So as long as you keep that understanding, then you won't be offended. It's about types. They're looking for a certain type. Sometimes they don't know it until they see it. Sometimes they bring in a bunch of people the same age, you know, or the same height or something. And then you might be in a room, it's supposed to be women of color. It might be black, it might be brown, it might be tan, it might be all different types of women that fit that general description. But if they're not sure what they're looking for, they're gonna have their eyes peeled to see a bunch of different types of people, right? So I'm over here by Yankee Stadium. You're gonna see all the people getting out of the game, all the Yankee shirts and whatnot. But as long as you know who you are and what you bring to the table, and you bring the best version of that to the table, if you don't get the part, you just move on. Now this is tough with when you have friends and family, because they're always rooting for you, which is why I don't always tell my friends and family about what I'm auditioning for, because they worry, did you get the part? Did you get the part? I don't know. If I get the part, I find out I got the part, right? But I can wait to get that information when it's time for me to get that information. I'm about to go into the subway. I hope that you guys enjoyed this little walk-in version of SayconTalks. And you guys have a great day.